Wait. Okay. We're going to try that again. Guys. If there's any sound problems, please let me know. Let's go again. Welcome, everybody, to the Overthinking Football Show. My name is Mokwena. I am your host, and this is the place, of course, where we love South African, and every now and then we go overseas to look at our football and speak about it. Now, this is a very interactive show. It's a show where you can actually jump in and add your voice to the show. There's 5 panels of 5 people that are each going to get 25 minutes per panel. So it's going to be 5 people, 5 people, each getting 5 minutes for 4 panels of the show where you can speak to me and tell me what you're thinking about whatever topic we have. The show is on every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8 p.m. And then, of course, if Chiefs, Pirates, Mamelodi Sundowns, Bafana, or Banyana are in action, we will be here doing our watch-alongs. As we normally do. Guys, hey, Izolo, the Niger boys were in town in the Free State. Bafana took on Nigeria, our biggest rivals. Yeah, the people that we fight every single day about a ton of different things, ranging in socio and economic, and even now in sports. They came to visit us for the World Cup qualifiers, and the game ended 1-1. Now, to give you a little bit of understanding of the stats, Bafana had 5 shots, 1 on target. Nigeria had 5 shots, 1 on target. Bafana had 54% of the possession, completing 371 passes versus the 46% of possession and the 314 passes completed by Nigeria. When we speak about general play, Bafana created no big chances, but Nigeria created 1 and missed it. That is how that game panned out. And as it stands right now, Bafana still top of the log. 8 games played, 5 wins, 2 draws, 1 loss, 17 points. But Benin is right there behind us. They've played 8 games, 4 wins, 2 draws, and 2 losses for a grand total of 14 points. So they are in the hunt. But if my math serves me correct, Nigeria mathematically should be out of this unless they do something crazy in their last games. That is what we're going to be speaking about. Remember, you can request and I'll let you in. You have 5 minutes to speak to me. Tell me if you can give me 2 minutes of what you are thinking is happening in whatever topic we're speaking about, and then also give me just 3 minutes where I can ask you questions. Please respect each other, guys. Everybody will get their time, and we're going to try to get as many people in as we can once we've got the multi-guest up and running. Okay, let me see who is here. Tyler T, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hey, hola, Mr. OT.
My brother, welcome. Tell me, what do you think of Bafana's 1-1 draw with Nigeria?
I think the result the result favors us, ne? It's a very, very good result for us. But watching the game, ne, it's like actually showing us that South African football, we've been actually pedestalizing these European players for quite a while. So it actually shows you that Bafana in that game, if they wanted to go for the win, they could have gotten more than they could have sealed and ended the World Cup qualification game in that game.
Mm.
So you could actually tell in terms of ball playing that South African has that quality of actually ball playing, and actually Sipho Mbula was actually able to actually receive a football under pressure, and him being able to go to the ball under those difficult situations actually shows you good like South Africa currently is accepting good like this is our style of play. We should accept what we have, and we have actually evolved as a country because we are able to identify our moments of play, and then we are using those moments of play very well, and actually we know when to attack and when not to attack, because there was a period at which Bafana was holding the ball at the back, and actually that it actually showed Nigeria was afraid to even go in and press, because they know if they will press, what will happen. Bafana will identify its sources, exit points, and actually punish them on that.
Can I ask you? I know we are really happy about the result. We're happy about Bafana. But what do you say to people that say, look, at the end of the day, it was still a draw. End of the day, it was 1 shot on target. End of the day, it was an on goal. What do you say to people who say that maybe, yes, it was a good result, a relatively good result, Mara, in the grand scheme of things, it wasn't really that good for us?
In the grand scheme of things, like you can actually tell these people, go to like, okay, number one, Let's look at the history of the South African football. Most people don't actually take this into account. It's like South Africa is very young in the African football stand of things, where we've been playing this football in African continent for, I mean, like 30 years. Because remember, we've been banned from playing football. So it actually shows you progress. It actually shows you it's like there's progress, and then we are doing that progress in a rapid growth. Look at the quality that the Nigerian team brings on a one-on-one scale in terms of what like these people are playing in European football. It actually
Yeah.
shows you there are things that you need to identify. Number one, you need to identify that South Africa is now currently has acquired the technical ability of like identifying what's this the type of play that they need to do as a team for a certain game, and
Yeah.
actually identify those moments that they need to play. They need to play the ball in which it's not like we are just playing the ball, moving around the ball just to go up front at all the times. But now it actually shows you that like we've also matured as a team. It's like you've also matured as a team. It's like we identify those key players, and then those things that will hurt us as a team, and then those things that we need to prevent as a team. And actually, it actually shows you like that was a very young team that we played as Bafana. Bafana is another thing that most people don't actually take into consideration. And then
Yeah.
we should also actually applaud Bafana Bafana, because if you can check, majority of those players they are from TTC. So it actually shows you it's like there is something that we are doing right as a country. We should not grill and actually be too harsh on them. We should actually identify those things that we are doing right and actually improve on them, and actually identify our weaknesses and actually also improve on them when the time comes.
Very quickly for a minute here, what does Africa have to do to win the World Cup? Because we've seen Etos, we've seen JJ Okochas, Kanus, we've seen Abu Terikas, we've seen Bokhatebe, Bokumalo. None have been able to get further than that Morocco semi-final. What does Africa have to do to go win a World Cup?
Number one, we should stop pedestalizing what's this European football as a African country, because we all immediately when Africans are facing a European team, number one, European or South American team, the first thing that comes into mind, they will tell you these guys are playing in Europe, they're the best teams in Europe. So it's a psychological thing that we need to overcome as Africa, because if you could actually check the European teams, each and every country there in Europe has its own style of play. Do you still remember the time we used to worship the Italians for their defensive style of play? We used to call them the Italian. I forgot the type of football that we used to call it the Italians one. And then we also have British football, the one that we call the space and zonal marking, British football. And we also had then came in Spain with their identity of play, tiki-taka, that actually got them in. If you can check throughout the European style teams, what they do, they identify a spine and the style of play that they want to do. There are some things those are the things that we need to do, identify the spine and the core of our team that we need to play.
For time, I'm going to jump in. Let me bring you to Tsepang. Tsepang, welcome to the show. How are you? Tsepang, are you with me? Okay, let's go to Bongs while we get Tsepang back. Bongs, champ, welcome.
Yes,
Thanks, Tsepang. Okay, let's go to Tsepang. Tsepang, welcome. I can hear you. Tell me about Bafana Bafana's game last night. Okay, no, let's see. Tsepang is he's lagging a bit. Let me bring it to Bongs. Bongs, in the meantime, Bongs, tell me, what do you think about Bafana's win? Welcome. Draw. Welcome.
Oti, let's just start first with the log standings.
Yeah.
Who are we playing next?
I'm not sure. I'll have a look.
It's Zimbabwe. We are playing
Okay.
Zimbabwe, right? Then we have Rwanda next.
Yeah, Zimbabwe, Rwanda.
Nigeria have Benin to play, right? And they need those 3 crucial points. So if we beat Nigeria, if we beat Zimbabwe, then they beat Benin. Doesn't that mean that Benin will be out of it as well?
Yeah, that does. It does mean that.
All right, then let's carry on with the topic now.
So, Bongs, what did you see from this game? Nigeria, le Bafana.
It was a battle of speed versus power power, especially the battle between Nkota and Basi. I was focusing on that battle too much because Nkota na khona ho betla le yena, Basi na ona dula mo a use power, a try to stop. My eyes were too focused on that battle too much. Because Nkota was trying so hard to get us a goal, which resulted in them scoring themselves. For Foster is always slow up front. So he was giving me a headache because we needed fast players, not slow players like Foster who keep on holding the ball for far too long. Because he also got chances in the second half and couldn't use those chances. We could have won this game, Foster. But because Foster was slow, so we couldn't win this game. Another part of the game was the goal Nigeria scored. I feel that the goal was a handball, but if the referee didn't see it, we can't say anything. My question is, since Africa uses VAR during these CAF games, during Champions League and all these other games, why was it not used during this game?
Oh, no. Well, somebody in the comments can handle
if
it.
Had been used, we could have at least won this game and forgot about.
No, go on, Bongs.
I just wanted to know why was it not implied, because we also use CAF, we use VAR in CAF, but now we use VAR in CAF. Why was it not used to see that this was not a legit goal for Nigeria, which could have helped us to qualify with only 2 games to spare, so that we could not wait for next month and have to play those 2 games under pressure now.
Bongs, is Bafana ready for a World Cup? If we were to go to a World Cup, are we ready? What would you be expecting from a Bafana in a World Cup?
Me?
There's a delay.
Like the previous speaker said, South Africa should not be fearing this players just because they play in Europe. They should remember that they also use a style that's been used in Spain, especially the Sundowns players, which we call tika-taka, where they do that thing I always call million passes, right? But it always works because it frustrates a lot of teams. If they can use that style to play, they can still try and fight these European teams. But looking at those who qualified, I can see that there are teams that I still wish that South Africa could play against. The likes of Jordan, Uzbekistan, I could still wish that we could play them in our group. So, because I can see that they are the more easiest teams that we can beat before we can face the big boys.
Bongs, for time about to jump in. Let me bring in Tyler.
OT.
Tyler, are you with me? Hey, but guys, is there a delay? Tyler, can you hear me?
OT, yes, I can hear you. How are you,
There we
OT?
go.
Yes,
I'm good, and you, Tyler?
I'm great, OT, man.
Tyler, tell me about this game.
I think someone said it very well. It was power versus speed. Those guys, you can see they're eating fufu, man. Hey, they're very strong. They eat fufu daily, man. You can see the goalkeeper there. If you can hit him with the fist, yeah, that one, those guys are very, very strong. As this guy was also mentioning that he was looking at the battle between Gota and that guy who scored the goal. You can see the huge difference there when OT. I think Williams needs to work on his game in terms of coming out when the ball is played across. We've seen him countless times. Williams is found wanting when the ball is being tossed. I think he should have intercepted that ball. And obviously, yeah, it was a handball. Mbule played a fantastic game. I think he just needs to work on his stamina to last longer in the game because we're gonna need him. When you substitute Ule Nduka or Temazwan, if you happen to call Temazwane in, we're gonna need him, and he's playing fantastic in that role, finding spaces. Very tactical. Player Mdunyela, excellent. Covering the right hand side. Nkota is matured. I like Apolis, guys. Apolis is the first attack for South Africa. He's not scared. He attacks them. It doesn't matter who you are. Mbokazi, I see him lasting one season for Orlando Pirates. If he keeps going on like this, I see him playing in Germany or in Italy. Those strong leagues where the people are being kicked. You want him to play in those leagues because the guy is very strong, man. You see him, passing midfield, almost scoring the goal there. Hugo Bros keeps saying we don't have players playing overseas, and I get very offended with that sentence every time he mentions that. Even in AFCON, he kept saying that thing, and he won a bronze medal. Through local players. The last time his last defeat was in September 2023 against Namibia. Through playing local players. He's in the brink of qualifying for the World Cup. So it means our league is the best. Look at what we did in the World Cup, surpassing with local players through Sundowns, surpassing matching big teams. And you keep saying because we're playing South Africa, our league is not better.
Can I ask, Tyler? Can I ask for time?
Yeah.
I'm hearing you using words excellent.
OT.
They didn't make it past the group stages. As wonderful and great as Al Ahly and We Dead and all those guys are, guys, what's happening?
I couldn't get you on your first submission.
I just want to check something. I just want to make sure there's no echoes here. Sorry about that, guys. I want to make sure. Okay. So what I'm saying, Tyler, what I'm asking there is, I hear you saying excellent, wonderful, playing well, best league. But what do you say to the people that say, in your example of Mamelodi Sundowns, as great and wonderful and positive as they were, they came home early from the group stages? Bafana is here. They're playing very well and doing all that stuff. But Benin is 3 points behind them. And yesterday they could only get a draw from one shot on target. And maybe broader to Africa, where we've had teams dominate here in Africa, but Al Ahly came back from the group stages. Dad came back from the group stages. We don't even speak about what happens when we go to World Cups. Where's the disconnect there? And are we maybe praising something too early, or giving something too much praise that it doesn't deserve?
It needs to be worked on OT. It needs to be worked on. It needs to be studied, and it needs to be improved. Obviously, but there is something in there, OT. It's not like something we are not doing. There is no progress. There's absolutely progress. I think we need to learn from countries like Morocco, with a strong domestic league, a clear footballing identity instilled by their competing FA, a world-class manager, like Hugo Bruce, incredible team unity and tactical discipline. So we need to learn from how do they make it to a World Cup to that level. And I think we were in the right direction. And if you're looking at the what you call Patrice Motsepe, because you asked a very important question earlier on, Guti, what does Africa has to do to win the World Cup? Number one, excellent administration. Strong, excellent administration required. World-class infrastructure. And if you've been listening to Patrice Motsepe, he's been talking about building infrastructures because he understands that you need to go and compete. And for you to compete, you need to have the best resources in place.
Very quickly.
You need to invest in elite youth development, modern tactics. You need to learn from those countries, from the Western countries, financial investments, and mental strength when OT. Very, very key.
Okay.
Thanks,
okay. For time, let me bring in EcoCell Positive. Welcome, my brother. How are you? Kosi?
Hello.
Hello, Kosi. Are you with me?
Yes, I'm with you. Can you hear me?
Tell me about this 1-1 Nigeria, South Africa.
Our team, Vert. I'm excited. We have a team here. We have a team, and we should be happy with the coach that we have. I think we are lucky to have this coach. Looking at the game, I think Nigeria was a real test. These guys were physical. Okay, very they are not strong in terms of playing football like Panty, but that's where we dominated them and Sababamba the speed in Apolis and Kota. But we I just want to round it off. We have a team and we have a good coach and we are going to the World Cup. If I check, I think now Sizodlala ne Zimbabwe ne Rwanda, which I don't think they are the strongest in the group. So we are going to the World Cup. I think our downfall in the World Cup, maybe it might be the crosses. We have a very short center backs. They are good, but I know with these teams in the World Cup, they always have a plan B. If they are a ball playing foot team, they would know okay, now we have those short guys and then hit us in crosses, like how we conceded our goal in Nigeria. So yeah, I think we have a good team. Our surprise coach, our coach is you can't predict how he's going to play. See, I was expecting that he will play Modiba. He brought in Kabini. I was expecting what maybe he will play Monyane, but he still went with Mtunyelwa, and he did very well. We have a good team, and then in the center pairing.
Hey, mute. Oh, yeah, go on, Kosi.
Yeah, and then in our center pairing also, I was expecting that Mbata will start ahead of Obas, but here is Obas. He comes in and he was a very important part in that game. I saw him playing more deeper than Mokwena, which gave us a stability. I think Hugo Bros knows his team. He knows his teams, and we are not going to the World Cup just to add numbers. I'm telling you, we are going to compete, and a lot of people will be surprised.
Can I ask you, Kosi? Can I ask you, what do you say to the people that might say the last time Bafana played a truly elite team was when they played France with the 5-0 Yagambape, and maybe you could throw Morocco in with the wins that we have over them, but we haven't in Hugo Bruce's time and in a long time, we haven't been playing the top guys. So are we truly ready for the World Cup, or have we just learned how to win on African soil?
We played with the big boys in Africa. We can't take nothing away from how we've been competing against Morocco. And Nigeria is a big giant. They struggled against us. We dominated them. We played a better football compared to them. So I'm sure we'll come across the team that will also struggle when we take our ball, put it on the floor, and then like how you saw Mamelodi Sundowns, they were playing on the Club World Cup. Like big teams were starting to struggle, but experience came in, and then they ended up struggling. But I'm saying with the brand of football that we are playing, and with if we can believe, like the previous speaker said, we mustn't try and do what other European are doing. If you can like concentrate on what we do best, like how Brazil do, and then see capitalize in 20 Zazi, I'm sure we would compete, and then we'll make a mark in this coming World Cup.
Okay, no, Kosi, thank you so much for joining me. Guys, remember, please tap the screen if you're here for the first time. Subscribe, follow. What the general show is that I'm gonna have 4 panels of 5 people. Each person's gonna get 5 minutes to just tell me what they're thinking about this game that we played. I think before I let the next panel in, I want to ask a question to the comments. Guys in the comments, I know that we are up on our football, we are up on all the stuff. Are we only focused on winning Africa and not the world? As I said, we haven't really played the world as Bafana or even the top teams in the world. I'm not talking about Andorra, I'm talking about Spain. You know, we've seen Senegal beat England 3-1. We've seen those type of games happen. We really haven't seen that under Hugo Bruce's reign. Are we ready to go play the rest of the world at a World Cup at that level? Or are we just a team that has figured out how to play in Africa and win in Africa? And that question has a couple of layers to it, because AFCON as well showed us that even though we got to a semi-final that was great for Bafana, we hadn't done it. It was still a semi-final that we lost to Nigeria. In the game yesterday, we were saying that everything was great, we were doing well, but one shot on target, we still drew with that Nigerian team. Are we truly ready, or are we still here? And even in the Mamelodi Sundowns examples that we use, Mamelodi Sundowns didn't make it through the group stages, you know, to the group out of the group stages. Our African teams have all come back, especially when you look at the history of African football. We've had Abu George Weah, we've had Abu Derika, we've had Abu Hossam Hassan, we've had Abu Lucas Khatebe, we've had all of those people. But still, as an African continent, our best performer is Morocco, semi-European Morocco, who did it last World Cup. What do you guys think is missing, and what do you guys think Africa must do? But before we go too far, let me bring in Ray. Ray, welcome to the show. How are you?
Mr. OT, how are you, man?
Man, Ray, tell me about this game.
Yeah, Mr. OT, thanks for the opportunity, man. You know, the game of yesterday, Mr. OT, I noticed about this game, it was not a good game to watch. You know, there was a lot of, you know, it was too much. It was too physical. You know, like, you know, it was too aggressive. You know, Nigeria was bullying the South African players because it was not about techniques. You know, it was about, you know, playing aggressive. You know, playing dirty football. You know, because at the end of the day, for them, it's about winning. Because in Nigeria, when I had that pride, we are better than South Africans. You know, because we have the top best players at Europe. You know, but actually, they're not all that. Like Nigerians, they don't want to accept it that this team is dead. There's nothing special about Nigerians. Because let's be honest, Mr. Oti. Look, our Victor Osimhen did, like, he's the only one who's playing, who is playing for he wants to play for his country, but others, they don't care, because others, they were born in France, in England. You know, like they don't have that thing. We want to play for Nigerians. We are diehard Nigerians. Yeah, but that's the other story for the other team, Mr. Oti. But like I saw Oti, these guys, they don't know what it means to play for Nigeria. You know, they were not born in that country, some of them. So, but I feel like Hugo Bruce, man, we should have won that game, man. Because in the second half, you should have put Fukeng, you know, in the last 20 minutes, because that guy was so tired. That guy who was low, because he was going pound to pound at police. Who's that guy, man? I forgot that guy, man. Police, he was not doing anything at that side. Let's be honest. You know, he was supposed to put Fukeng just to, I'm Chaifi Senyana Vele, I'm Shazi Sevele, I'm very pansy, you know, because we needed Fukeng at that match. Also, Mduduzi Shabalala was supposed to play because Shabalala, like what I notice about him, he shows up in these certain games, because Shabalala has that thing, really, he knows how to control, and when it comes to PKMC, he knows how to control the game, But I'm far 10 minutes so that because that number 10 role we needed a creativity because Usibombole was tired, Usibombole, you could tell it is very tired. He was supposed to put a youngster. And I hope he puts him next month because also Uqotha, like I like him how he was going pan to pan with that player from English Premier League club 14 time or something like that. Yeah, but that's why that guy is something special. Even Bogazi for me now. I mean, I'm taking my head off, Mr. Oti. That boy is going far. That boy, because it's one of the best, so far one of the best young player ever in South African football. Oti. This guy is talented. He was busy. Hey, I'm a new guy, my daughter.
Manje, for the last minute here, Sienza Nugu World Cup. We qualify for the World Cup. What's the expectation of South Africa at Go World Cup?
Oh, Mr. Oti, let me be honest, Mr. Oti. Like, we are just going there. We are going there to learn, Mr. Oti. We are not. Let's not expect nothing much, Mr. Oti. Mr. Oti, like, yeah, it's good to like. Don't get me wrong, it's good to qualify, but let's just say, okay, at least they qualify. Let's go there to learn because we are going to the right direction, but we are not going there to say, oh, Germany is so shy, France. No, those guys they'll destroy if Bafana. Hey, because hey, what's a straight up Olamile ma? Abu Mbappe, hey, bayadlala la Bafana, Mr. Oti, hey, usephesheya lapha la. And also, Mr. Oti, yeah, I hope we play those teams like our China, Nan. I hope we play with this type of teams because those ones, that football is not that quality, but I hope we don't play with European teams because those teams, they will destroy us. I don't want to play with this type of teams. Yeah, Mr. Oti. Yeah, but
No,
we are
for
going there to
time.
learn, Mr. Oti.
For time,
Yeah.
our champion, we were going to go on holiday. So when America started my photos, Sundowns, you already did that. But let me go to your boy Slime. Slime, welcome.
Bahlulekile, Mr. Oti, bahlulekile.
Slime Loco, welcome. How are you?
Mira la muy OT.
Nakamunate man, retroile maubano rinka ke.
Night thing or game like nele tense pila, nele more on a physical level. And now na ba banga butlwa nyana, ba bolela nyana, o ka ra ba apply logic to the tactics tsa coach. I wanna get into mbu. I wanna o ka fa batho ba ba debut ka game e serious yana like.
Yeah.
This game was very tense. So ka fa motho debut. Like debut because re bolela ka di points tsa o ya World Cup. Basically we're risking the points. It's like gambling because you are relying on luck. So now I feel like Hugo Bruce who improve South Africa for now because like on a tactical level, like ke feel like no be under tactical discipline. The way we move, the way le tshware ball o bona batho ba bana le play. I like kale libile Nubian ntwe ke nahana le Nubian. I still think we're like mentality nyana o tshwereng wa utlwa le diferent nyana tse di bolelang hona like this mentality ke ono irang hore like re jiwe na go mo gaming because like re tsena mentality o ke Mbappe o bona mentality wa Mbokazi a ke tsele mone na Mbokazi ka mokhathala like it's like he's fearless like like o bona mentality that mentality something se di thoma mo minding is a game minding just simple. So but I feel like South Africa so far improvile for now. If you are improvile for no, but like I get maybe like if AFCON right win.
Yeah, it is him.
I feel like we rabo better Rico World Cup. If you win you know. Because I feel like
okay, yeah.
Morocco. so far ke Morocco ka utlwa batho ba overita Morocco but e fitla mo rena re tshela metsi si shine duku so
ke batla go botsa ka taba ya Africa man. I know we're speaking about Bafana or re batla gore tlo etsang kwa mara in the history of African football una le di team tse chisang tse fitileng bo eto bo mangmang, they haven't been able to do much go World Cup. Africa is shota kang go World Cup.
Africa for
as a whole for a rewin.
Now for nna ke feel on a logical level because like I feel like Brazil hore e winang ko e winang for nna standard sa bona sub greater gore ba dlala go Europe, no ways, ain't no way. I feel like gore ba stickile to culture ya bona, like Brazilians are special for nna. I feel gore ba special because like for nna ra utlwa re overita bo England, but England they compared to Brazil I feel like it's a fly because for nna I feel gore bjalo because like level la ntho e achievileng ke batho ba from history level la lineage ya Brazil from Bopele bo Ronaldinho, like re bolela ka di stats di winning o ka se mpotse ka bo Jamie Carragher a ke na nako ya bona ba o bona like ke di analyzer ba sharp a itse mara like re bolela ka batho ba like ba tletseng bolo like as like lineage ya bona ina di achievements for ne ba santsane ba stikile to culture ya bona so le nna ka South Africa ke believe gore like re tshwere di more of ball players, like ball players. So go Bruce into it is mo South Africa but ba sa jumping you know ba nubiana banganga cause kalner kono la tlhela di staff fela mara ground ne le bona bothata o la tlhela like di staff fela di star ho makama host na ubas wena ho makama because like di star mostly like ke feel gore like they are more like on bathabela ball and it's not wrong. Nka se magisi la mini ya mala o khona hale ka tsara ka re ya la mini maka wena o tlo treka beke montsharo otle a o khona hale so no bana ke feel gore like who go Bruce twisted that thing like ona that thing or like re be like o bontshore ya e ke team e dala ene le ka mkho a irileng gore a substitute ba re ke mang a sa tsentsha modiba nna ke feel gore a ira ntho wrong because like ka itlhalwanya on a tactical level or like batho ba like ba batol so if ke riska ka mbokas ke modladisa mo center back so but at least 3 go morao tshwantse e be batho ba batelle at least 3
okay mara for time for time about the champion there Slime Loco, thank you so much for joining. Let me go to Royal Cave. Welcome, how are you?
Mr. OT, how's it?
I'm good, my brother. 1-1. Tell me about this game. How did you feel about it?
We are back again, South Africa, Nigeria. Remember, OT, we are at home. But I feel like we was on the suffering, and I don't. Most people are excited because we showed up, against South Africa. We used to bully us. But I think overall, 1-1, Bruce is the one who failed us, The players were disciplined according to his tactics. But we needed him to play part. When you see the players are there, you have your Nkota who's doing his best to approach the goals. You have your Mbule who's a master chef in the middle who's trying. And then you have your number 9, who's Foster, which you could see that he was struggling, he was a bit slow. You have Reyners at the bench. Reyners, as long as we are aware that Mamelodi Sundowns hasn't been like performing to their best, but he's been scoring some goals there. Why don't you put him in second half if you could see that Foster is not giving you something, because we are at home and we want to show Nigeria that we are doing best. Like South African football has improved so far, and the national team as well, because we look at Mamelodi Sundowns, we look at Orlando Pirates, we look at the Skukune FC as well. We are there, so I feel like. As much as I can give him his props, the Hugo Bruce, for getting our national team there, for this game specifically, he kind of let us down because we wanted him to come into the game, as he could see our struggles for not getting the goal. Because we should also remember, we didn't score. They scored. They scores me the OT. I know it's because we put them under pressure, but we didn't score. No one from our team scored. They scored that own goal.
Can I ask you something?
Yes,
the point you're bringing up about Pirates and Sundowns. Do you take any stock in a brilliant Bafana team under Hugo Bruce finishes third in the AFCON, a brilliant Sundowns team finishes third or second in the Champions League, a brilliant Pirates finishes third or second CAF Champions League, a brilliant Mamelodi Sundowns doesn't get out of the group stages of the Club World Cup? Do you think that our standards are low, or should we treat this as the stepping stones to get up there?
I think that our biggest project now we should test ourselves on how good we are by first winning the CAF Champions League. We need to start dominating in Africa to leverage ourselves to the global level, to the World Cup. But if we haven't even won the AFCON, it's AFCON, right? I mean, we can't speak about the World Cup if we can't win the AFCON or we haven't won the AFCON. If we win the AFCON, then we will say something, we'll have something. As champions of Africa, we can say we have the chance, but we can qualify for the World Cup. But before we win the AFCON, I don't think we stand the ground to say we are having a high chance to say maybe we can come out of the quarterfinals or whatever. I don't have high expectations.
Marakev, here's Morocco. I don't think recently they haven't won an AFCON. Now they're out here going out and going to semi-finals of the World Cup, getting knocked out by Bafana at AFCON. Do those things correlate? Do we have to wait, or can we push, man, and hit somewhere else?
We can, but you need to remember, OT. How many players are regulars in the world, in the best performing, in the Premier League, in your Europe football? If you look at Morocco, you have your Hakimis. Yeah, so there's experience, the conditions, they know their conditions already are of that nature in that football. But we look at our national team, we are more relying on we are more fed by the local league, not that. Yes. So we can't really compare with Morocco because they are they have more players who are playing in the best leagues in the world,
For time, I'm going to jump in. I want to bring in Kutsiso. Kutsiso, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm good. Let me start by greeting each and everyone who's watching this. Allow me to open the camera so that I can remind you something. Just beat.
Okay, go ahead. Let's see.
Maybe you'll be familiar maybe you'll be familiar with something here. Yeah. Maybe you'll be familiar with something and then...
Ikiona. Yeah.
I just brought something that could put smile on your face. OT, going back to the game, how Bafana played yesterday, everyone was excited. We wanted those kind of results where we could see that the plan of the coach was whether he was playing for a draw or maybe a win. You could see the way he approached the game in terms of fielding 5 defenders, which is Nanyaka Otwara, that team with what we call the middle low block, where the outer player like wingers like Wo Nkota, Le Apolis. But the question was how are we going to score? If we are going to rely more on speed, because we knew that Nigeria it's playing more aggressive football, where we know that if we put their wing banks on the bottle, or ba frustrated. But my question is one: are we consistent enough? That's the question that we should ask ourselves. That as South African, are we consistent enough? Because if you check, we failed to beat Rwanda, and now we have Rwanda. Rwanda beat us 2-0. What will happen if we draw with Rwanda or it beat us again? That's the question, because we win the game that we go like we win the game. It's just another record winner. They are easy to be win. Are the winning, and then also we are going back to the drawing board. With the support from SAFA. At the World Cup, are they going to give Bafana that enough support?
Okay.
Well, we strike and stuff. We know, man, what's happening here in South Africa. When the girls, when the boys, to the World Cup, drama. You know, it took me back to 2010 when Pereira left the country. He brought Santana. If you check, Rena batho ba bantši re ile ra loser that thing of watching Bafana because of Bafana it was losing. Santana will take us to play with Germany, those two strong horse. And then how did we do? And then after that, what did they did? Before the World Cup. So some of the things about the SAFA, the administration, you look how SAFA failed. They couldn't notice that mokwena it's only yellow card. So there are obstacles that they are within the organization. But where are we going? Are we consistent enough? Are we consistent enough to win each and every game that we are going to face? It's so sad that look at how Sundowns. We were happy. Look at how Sundowns went to represent the continent, the country, go the World Cup. But look at the mistakes that Williams keep doing. The mistakes that just short passes, and they get another. So those mistakes. Where are we going as a nation? Because this is very sad. Because at the end of the day, the question remains that are we consistent enough to compete there?
I want to ask you very quickly for a minute, Mona Kuziso. Can we say the same about CAF? Because CAF hasn't produced a World Cup winner. CAF hasn't produced the team that can go and win a Club World Cup or go far in a Club World Cup, whether it be the women's game, the men's game, the club game. Do we have the same questions about CAF?
Exactly. Did you know the last one, OT? Look at how the mentality of our coaches or our management we have. You will find a team that is playing in ABC Motsepe. The coach promotes the team with the local players. And then when they come to PSL, they reshuffle all the players. They release all the players. It's the same thing that we are going to. It's going to happen. That qualify. If they happens to qualify, you will see that they will say no. We want the players who are playing in Europe, which is the biggest issue. That's why I'm saying, are we consistent enough to trust the players that we are having from our grassroots?
Thank you, Kutsi. So before I go to the next panel, guys, I just wanted to jump in and just ask a question. Guys, please mute when you come in. Don't forget to mute when you come in. Again, guys, I guess I'm seeing some comments here where we're speaking about development maybe being the issue. That it goes back to development. We need to develop players and we need to do all of that. I understand where you're coming from, but does that make it a far bigger issue than maybe it could be? That maybe, you know, it's about how we prepare for a World Cup, right? If an African team is going to go play a World Cup, I mean, Senegal played England, for example. They beat England 3-1. Bafana has yet to play one of those teams, the top teams that we'd meet out there, for example. You look at the other African teams that are around us, the type of times, or the number of times that they play against those big teams in friendlies, preseason, whatever, is very low. I don't see an Ahly going out to go play versus a Man City, let's say, in a preseason, for example, right? Could it be a preparation thing that we are not prepared because Nati, we are surprised, must figure up. We go and be surprised. You know, Hugo Bruce has to teach us the level of international football by taking us to France and us getting beaten 5-0. And then ever since then, you don't see France, you don't see Spain, you don't see those countries up until we qualify for a World Cup. Could that be an issue? The other part that I want to speak about, and I'm asking the comments here so that everybody else can get a chance in this 2 minutes here, is also about how we view these games. We tell ourselves that we are excellent. We've told ourselves that our games are excellent. We've told ourselves that our teams are excellent. We've told ourselves, good day, Ziawa, South Africa's back. But the truth of the matter is that at international level, none of the African teams have made a noise. None of the African teams in history have been able to go and do something monumental as a final, let's say. I know Morocco got to the semis. So in a broader scale, what do we look at? Because some of the other countries have developed players. Abo Samuel Eto'o, Abo Rigo Betsong, we're all part of the same team. Abo Kolo-Toure, Nabo Yaya Toure, we're all part of the same team with Didier Drogba, with all of these different guys. We've had developed players that haven't been able to do anything. We've had undeveloped players that haven't been able to do anything at the world stage. So what is it, guys, there in the comments about Africa that stops us at any given level? You know, we've had an Egyptian team that was club champions, and the Egyptian team that had a run. We've had then, like I've noted, Abu Senegal, Abu El Hadji Diouf. We've had Abu Lucas Khatebe. We've had Abu Dr. Kumalo. What is it that's stopping Africa from the next level, from jumping over? Is it all mental? Is it physical? What is it? Let me go to Kamelihle. Kamelihle, welcome to the show. How are you?
Evening, Oti, and the panel.
Tell me about. I can hear you perfectly. Tell me about this game that Bafana played.
Okay, yes, I watched that game, Oti, but yes, it was not that game that we expected. I can say I was expected a firepower, but it was a team of stop and go. It was too physical, and you can see even the coach, the starting lineup, he knew very well with the guys from the Nigerian, they will be too physical. If you can see, introduce Obas, introduce Ongezan, introduce Gavin, which man he was prepared for the physical. Can't tell you coach because
Yeah. I think the network, Kamelihle, just come closer to the mic there.
okay. You
Yeah.
hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, I was saying just we needed just a point or a 3 point. So for us to go out to want a 3 point, maybe it will be a risky one. So I can't blame the coach. So yes, I did enjoy the game. Although yes, it was not the game that I was looking forward for. I think the guys will give Nigeria a whipping. Because when I watched Nigeria play with one, I saw a lot of loopholes from the Nigerian. Then you can see there's a lot of problem with the Nigerian teams. There's no cohesion, there's no structure. It's just players. They call just the players overseas to come and play. It's like they are not giving them instruction how to play as well. They are just doing it for themselves. So, but yeah, I was disappointed for that one point that we get. I was looking for a 3 point. And another thing, I think maybe we should fix the goalkeeping department. We know we learn, but every time they attack him, most of the time he concedes because that was the only attack Nigeria gave us, and it resulted in a goal. which I believe he should have helped the defense to come out and punch the ball or something.
Mm.
But anyway, yeah, I was really impressed with one of the guys, Mbogazi, and impressed with the majority of Ngezan. I was really matured in that game.
Mm.
I see some leadership in both of them with Ngezan. Yes, but I was not impressed with Gavin. Although yes, he was there, but if I was a coach, I was going to replace him so that we can have more ball rotation. Because he's good when we're marking, but when we want to progress the ball, is not good.
Mm.
I will put in Modiba so that we can have a better ball rotation. Coming to that, I think as the African team is gonna take us a long way to reach the standard of the AO, because the problem about African, their build up is too slow.
Mm.
It's too slow. And most of the time they play backward a lot to start the build up. So in Europe they are so quick. 2 touches they are in the box, 2 touches is in the net. So their ball rotation is fast, their ball distribution is fast. So that's what I see. There is a lot of difference. So maybe that's why our coach Hugo.
Yeah, go on. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, so that's why I think Hugo Pro is emphasizing a lot that maybe some of our players must go into Europe and then maybe see some of the things, then bring the experience back. It's not. I am not taking as if like he's undermining our players or something, but because when I'm watching an European game and African game, there's a huge difference with the progression. So I think the problem, if Africa can just improve in the progression of the ball and try to penetrate and more forward passes, maybe there will be difference. Because now I see a lot of ball is most of them are their forward passes. That's why you find some of the cases sometimes it's 1 or 2-1. So
Yeah.
that's why you don't see a lot of African
For time,
because they are build up.
I would have to jump in, Kabile, just to respect the other guys here. Let me bring you to Maronza. Maronza?
Yeah, uthi long time, hey.
Long usifihlile Maronza, awusayithandi show, it's fine.
Ukhona uthi awusangifaki uthi yazi ngongena ngifike ngihlala udala uthi ungishaya ngebhobo uthi hayi mara kuzolunga.
Maronza ngitshela ngale game 1-1.
Uthi I think I expected what happened yesterday. I expected it. Especially Nigeria, they were looking for points. So you expected a game like that. Sometimes you need to understand that we cannot play pretty all the time. Are you with me, Oti?
I'm hearing you. I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Oti. So we cannot expect everything to be nice all the time or pretty. Football's like that. We're looking for points. They were looking for points more than us. So we expected that. You understand me? But I saw it in Nigeria in the first half, right? First 20 minutes, Nigeria that was vulnerable, Nigeria that was afraid of South Africa, and then after the goal scored, and then I saw a different Nigeria. Do you understand me? So I think it was not a game of 2 halves. It was game divided into 4. So you saw a different Nigeria first half, different South Africa second half, first half, and all that. So there were 2 teams which were battling for first 20 minutes and the last 20 minutes. So both teams had their chances, but that is the game that I expected, to be honest.
Maronza, tell me about. I want to drill down on the point you're making here. Do you worry that Hugo Bruce makchinchwa ama tactic adapt naye? Is that a worry for you and something that we might see at the world level?
Oti, I still say, I still need to say this. Football's not all about pretty football all the time. So I think give the man his flowers.
The result speaks for themselves. The statistics speak for themselves. He has 21 games undefeated. What do you expect? Give the man his flowers. You know, we can say, hey, akadlali, ibhola elihle, what, but what are the statistics? What is the record? 21 games undefeated. The only game that he was defeated, it was in I think in Rwanda, the one in the pitch, muddy pitch and all that. That is the only game. Go to African Cup of Nations, we say he's not going anywhere. Me and you, Oti, me and you, we said he's not going anywhere. Semi-final. So and with local based players. And the other thing that I need to line is, people are talking about international players. Which international players do we have without Fostra and Mailula? Tell me another one.
Gezan.
That comes to your mind. Okay, Ngezana, yes. I mean the one that are not in the squad. Which one?
Kana, who's the guy who played with Debs in the middle? I keep forgetting his name.
When they were given a chance, they were given a chance. I was told they were giving a chance. I'm talking about somebody who had never been, we're saying he's not there. Never been given a chance. Yeah, that one is new, man. He just went away now. Come on. You're talking about new guys. Guys, we don't have guys in Europe which we can say they are fit now to play for the Bafana.
Wait, but Maronza, I want to press you on that point right there. We've seen other African teams that have guys that play in Europe, the top teams. Now, Babayen's next Makfigo World Cup.
Yeah, Oti, let me tell you something. I think the problem is one with African players. They shine because there's other players to make them shine.
Okay,
but that is our problem. We don't have individual brilliance to say we can see that guy, or let's, for example, Mbogazi, if he was playing outside, then say he's going to shine. In African players, there's guys don't shine. They don't want to shine. They shine because they're being shined by other players. That is the problem that we're having in Africa. We must have those guys who are individually brilliant. If we can go back to our George Weah and all those things, we're talking about that. Somebody who's brilliant. So we don't have those things, those kind of things. Even now, when you see Nigeria, is because of that problem. Because they shine because there's other players that make them shine out there. But when they come here to combine themselves, you can't. I think one guy talk about stars in one team. It will
20 seconds.
It will never work. And Oti, before I finish, I'm happy that Chiefs is coming back. Maybe we'll see a big bet, have a Bafana going forward with 3 teams. And Hugo, I'm proud. Time, Sundowns players only. Paris was playing this time around. I wish Chiefs can come in and join in. Then we make a beautiful 3 teams which are going to play in Bafana.
Time, Baronza.
Thanks, Oti.
Munyane waru. Now, Andile, welcome.
How's it, Mr. OT?
I'm good, thanks to you, my brother.
I'm good, man. I'm good.
How do you feel about yesterday's game?
Yeah, can I first just address the question that you had, or the point that you brought up around African teams not doing well on the world stage?
Yeah.
I think there's a number of factors. I also do think that, because if you look at it, I mean, even South American teams haven't been doing greatly, apart from the previous one where Argentina won it. But South American teams have been struggling as well. I think Europe have had dominance on the global stage for the past couple of World Cups.
Yeah.
And I think administration plays a massive role when it comes to that. Administration, and as well as financial muscle as well. And I think Europe have the advantage in terms of that. And Europe have understood that in order for them to compete with South Americans, they need to invest heavily in their development structures. And I think they've done that over the years. They've added a lot of technology, a lot of data-driven insights into the game to get leverage and an advantage over the natural abilities of your South Americans. So I think the game has taken a more scientific sort of approach, or it's more scientific. It's got into a scientific era, which obviously has its disadvantages, advantages. People have been saying the game has become a lot more robotic and so on and so forth, and we need to go back to more sort of organic kind of football, which I agree to some extent. But at the end of the day, I think it's not just a matter of African teams. I think a lot of the times, I mean, we've heard the stories that Nigeria, in previous World Cups, had administrative issues with their government. It happens all the time. And these things play a massive impact on players. I mean, we saw it in Banyana. They were not paid at the AFCON, but 10 years down the line, we're going to look back at that AFCON and say Banana failed in that AFCON. But the context is being left out of the conversation, which is that the administration is letting them down. And what that brings me to is, in terms of our football ourselves as South Africans, obviously we need to look at context. We need to look at what are the contributing factors that create the kinds of players that we have, that we are uncertain about whether they can compete in the global stage. What is it that's missing? And that then speaks to then having to look at the entire pipeline of how a player goes from grassroots level into the professional environment. What's happening throughout that process? I've watched countless number of interviews from past players about how Teko got into professional soccer. There's no I mean, Teko is such a talent, such a brilliant talent. But if you look and listen to his story, you can see there's literally no development here. Like, guys just got lucky. I heard exactly, yeah. Nduduzo Sbiya from Golden Arrows, who I thought was an amazing talent at some point. Obviously, he stayed at Arrows. Even his story. I'm originally from Durban. I hear his story. You're 17, 18. You go to a trial at Golden Arrows. You get lucky. The coach likes you. Then you that's where your development starts, essentially. So we have a lot of that kind of stuff going on, and then I think there's still a lot of work. I mean, I was watching DDC the past weekend. I thought the level was pretty low. I thought it didn't. I was hoping DDC was going to take another step up. I know I'm being critical because it's the first game, but I think we need to look 3 steps before we say, hey, Bafana, are they capable or not? And I think another thing that we're having a difficult time is assessing how we compare to the rest of the world. It's difficult to assess if we haven't played against these people. Because even against Nigeria, we were not 100% sure how we were going to fare, because we kind of don't know how far off we are, because we don't measure that level of players. Exactly. And I think we need to find a way to be able to measure ourselves against those countries. And I think Hugo Bross is at blame on some level here, because he said this publicly. There was a friendly opportunity with Morocco, and he declined it. And he said,
30 seconds.
I don't want to play against Morocco because... Sorry, yeah, he said, I don't want to play against Morocco because we're going to lose 3-4-0 and everyone's going to blame me. So he was saving face for himself. Which I don't think is at the benefit of our players' football development, because we need to find out sooner than later where we are. We need to find that out. We need to get humble if we need to get humble, so that we can go back and do the work. So yeah, that's it. I mean, in terms of the game, I thought we were better than Nigeria.
Very quickly, we've got like 10 seconds.
We should have won. Okay, yeah, we were better than Nigeria. I think we should have won. I think we should have been slightly more aggressive, but I understood the context of the game. So I just think we were better than Nigeria. And I think Mokwena is better than some Premier League midfielders. I genuinely think he's better than some Premier League.
Time. Let me bring in Prati. Prati, welcome. Oh, Prati.
Hey, bro, Chiefs, how's it, my bro?
Oh, Chiefs, yeah, we now sad.
Oh, bro, khale ke zama go tla ya no tseba di span di re hapana ka di shift ha o ke na go na ha o ke na mola nna ke kene ke wetse makgwaba di a nshobela bro.
Hi, welcome back, man.
Re gone a no ke tsheba ke tshwere sentle ke wa tseba ke tswa shopo maloba ke kodile di prices tsa tsene ke di apara last year ya no ke bona mo ke se ke apara di don't touch what five potsa re go bereka ga happiness en khabile ka mo le ka mo ke Bafana ke Kaizer Chiefs brauti e re ke ka mo brauti ke kopa go fa credit ko Hugo Bruce brauti ke kopa withdraw maoko a ka ke ka bua nako ya bo ntate Johnny Jordaan ha ne ba appointa Hugo Bruce ke ipotsa ke mongwe wa batho ba ne ba commenta ntse ke re ko re luisa kae mokgekolo wa le pensionera a tle go coacha Bafana ha ba re tse serious mare mokgala jo o kgonne go gaisa ba le bantsi bra OT o kgonne go nagana 22 unbeaten bra OT a se thaka motho foundation le gore o ya hile ene ganyane re go gongwe gona ra fitlhella bra OT ha o le bella go tswa ko re tswang ko teng ko ne re sokola re tsa di calculator nako e ka be setse re tsa calculator re botsa gore Nigeria ya loser or eng lose or eng no yana ke bone ko tlase kwa yanong ba busy ka di calculator o itse ke go metlholo ra driver bra OT to be honest bra OT a ke tabeli buang ka one ya gore African football like ha re khone ha re ya ko pele ha re khone go itlhare compete le di team like bo Brazil bo Argentina bra OT mara ke nagana gore bo Morocco ba tle ba dietsa ba fitlha go di semi final bo kana ba tle ba ropiwa mo South Africa mo go gontsi bra OT bokemo ene di gape ke na tabentse e dira gape ke bra OT di team tsa rona tsa Africa di dinnyane bra OT ha di fiwe enough chance to be honest like wa bana ntse go qualify ya 5 no yana ke gone ba oketsang ba re 10 so obviously Europe ya go phela ena le advantage because of they are more than 10 teams tse di yang go di ya go represent that. That's why ba phela ba winner World Cup bra OT le bo Brazil bo so ke yone tabe di account bra OT but ke nagana gore I do believe bra OT na from my side gore African, if you can be honest, African, there can be one team from Africa e ka winang World Cup bra OT.
One team for the last minute mona Prati. One team it tlo ba di team tse tsa lona tse monate or is it going to be the team tse borang tsa konof? Ya ke re ba re ba bora konof.
Sheba bra OT. E ka tswa ka go rona e ka tswa ko North bra OT Morocco I think I don't think like that they are that bad ke nagana gore ba ka makatsa lefatshe ka bophara ba win World Cup ka lengwe la malatsi bra OT but even rona if we can be honest we do have good players bra OT plus this is a tournament like you can plan bra OT gore okay any game gape o ka pasa di group stage then wa re di last 16 ba wina ka like you are di quarter final wa wina ka like o ka iphitlhela le go final wa go makatsa batho because I don't think or you need that go like pretty football go wina World Cup bra OT even o ka check team e winning World Cup Argentina I don't know they were that good but in individual brilliance ba breaketse bra OT for game ya mabani ke nagana
very quickly Prati only 10 seconds
bra OT a tseba ke bolela go le re ke shootele ba bangwe bra OT
okay that's Prati Eric Kenye Uchali Pugela welcome.
Good evening, Brauti and your listeners.
How are you, my brother? Tell me about this game.
Yeah, Brauti, the game yesterday it was a good game. It was a chess match. You see, we had them there and there, but they wanted us like to act first, like in Nigeria. They didn't want to like press. Abo Lukman, the striker on the first half, Ubanu Tesis. They didn't want to. They were waiting for that mistake. They won. So from Mangi Peaga Teleke analyze a foot. Hugo Bruce did well in terms of foot spam match physically because they were there trying to bully us, and then we stood our ground. Bule was like withholding that ball, and then Aipabo Mokwena, Aipabo Obas. So Hugo Bruce like we change Limpilosity Brauti and so on. So but in concern he won. Like he waited like too long to make those substitutions. There was a time whereby 73 minutes, 75 minutes, whereby we had them on the back. Like we needed to Fagurenas. I understand what the game management and all that. The game, but the game requires quality, man. They were there to like spectate. It's not about 2-1, 3-1. With Mfukeng, I understand with the game it needs something, but at that time, equality come Mfukeng. He was gonna create something there, no Ikram Renas, no Svelebel. You look how Svelebel market again, how they panicked, how Mabat defended the last inch defense. You see, there's something that was happening there. Beseba Tugi now. Plus now people under pressure, Gucci, they must win that game. So we had them. Just Hugo Bruce didn't read the game well, but I give it to us, man. That 1 point will work for us in the future, and I'm happy. In terms of the question, what are we gonna do there if we do qualify? Hey, bro, it's been 24 years since we've qualified through playing our qualifications.
Yeah.
So we go there, we beat the team, or we then they'll draw. It's for the experience, and then next time when we go there, we already have that experience. Nabo Mfukeng, nabo these upcoming boys, nabo Mbogazi, and then now you start to compete. For now is for us to Guso World Cup. The competition is very high. We gain that experience. We come back. The following one is there that we start to compete.
Mara, isn't this what you were saying in 2002? Guti, no, siyabuya, learning. There's no guarantee Guti nzobuya.
Yeah, but Braoti, you see now our team is on the upward trajectory, I'm told. So yeah, in between 2002 to 2010, a lot of things happened which were not on our side. But this time we feel that our football has improved, the PSL has improved, Sundowns has competed with CAF, and it has made, and Sundowns, what it did, it has made CAF competitions to be attractive, because the Chiefs were not Chiefs. We did not take that competition serious for the longest of time. The Pirate, then they would reach a final and then they would slack off. But now Sundowns made it a more fashionable tournament. So our teams, they start to compete now. They understand that the feeling of playing African teams, playing against the best. From now on, we have to take on the world, obviously. But for now, it's a learning moment. We take this learning moment and then we compete next time about 2030.
Okay. Oh, Trevor, mute more. We can hear you. Thank you, Charlie. Before we go into the next panel, I just want to say, I think for me, if I can just give my thoughts of the question that I asked, I think for me, the problem that happens with African football, from my perspective, is that African football is so individual brilliance based, which is fine because you find a lot of technical players in football, in our football on the continent, but they don't get to learn the boring things. So I'll give you an example that doesn't have to do with football. I played hockey in high school. And playing hockey, and Rana we played hockey a specific way, skills and whatever. And it was great. For the level that we were at, it was so great. We were beating teams, it was entertaining, it was all of that stuff. But then you go and play versus the big schools. I remember we played versus King Edward, Kochobek. And you watch how intentional everything they do is. Runakwa Tribuli was 1v1, eliminate a man, give space, I try and do something. There, it's cut, goal, 1-0. Cut, 2. So they have an intention to the way that they move that comes from two things. Number one, the study of their football. I think we love our football. I think we enjoy our football, but I don't think we haven't looked into our football deeply. When we speak about the previous, one of the guys on the previous panel spoke about how it's scientific. I don't think we have made our football scientific to the point where we've studied it, we understand it, we've placed it against the rest of the world, we've seen what works, what doesn't work, what does this, and we've made it something. I remember saying on the show the one day that what's the South African version of a catenaccio? What's the South African word that denotes? When you go to Italy and you speak about a catenaccio, they can tell you, you know, yaqala second division when Genoa was doing this and this, and ubaba wa corner is Kadu, what, and that man decided that he was going to build it like this and do that. We don't have that here. The only person we reference ever is Ted Dumitri, for example. But in terms of knowing our football and understanding our football and putting the stats behind it and putting the work behind it and the history and all of the things that you need to put behind it. The Shushan in piano. What is Shushan in piano? If you were to break it down for somebody and put it on a board. I had this conversation on 3 Men Press. Guys, please support. We've got a podcast called 3 Men Press on YouTube. I said this in the show that, you know, when a coach comes into a European team, you know exactly where to go to score the goal. If you watched Nigeria in the second half, they said we're going to a back five. We're going to play 3 in front of the back five. We're going to play 2 up front. We're going to take the tall number 10, the guy who's wearing the number 10 jersey, and we're going to say, look, man, run around him. And every time Nigeria got the ball, it was 2 passes to go and isolate the center back. One of the center backs when they go. It's that type of thing. When you watch Tiki Taka, when you watch Samba Boys, when you watch any of the footballs that have dominated the world, it's footballs that are, number one, studied. They understand themselves in and out. They understand themselves versus other teams, number one. But then number two, the intention is to go score. The reason why I'm asking you guys about Abo Mbula, I'm not saying that the play wasn't good. Abo Apolis, Abo Nkota. What I'm saying is, was there an intention from Bafana to go score? And what's the move that we do to go score? And how many times did we press that button in order to go and score? In order to go and do the thing? So I feel as though African football is an open football. It's a football where we hope that Sadio Mane is going to do something. We hope that Nkota is going to do something. But when a team counters that and closes us down, now we're watching Nkota, for example, yesterday, who had a good run in the first half. In the second half, he was having to beat a player A1 every single time and losing out physically. Nigeria realized that, oh, okay, I want to say about physically. Every time he tries to turn me, I can just, and now Nkota kaseko. And then my question then becomes, as South Africans, have we spoken? Have we studied ourselves to say, Nkota magadliwa lapa, now they're playing physical. How can Mbule come and support him to go score? How can we take that raw skill and put structures around it and put gameplay around it and put tactics and moves around it? So if you fail already, now we can say, okay, before I let the guys in, the last thing I'll say, look at what happened to Sundowns. Sundowns played an incredible game, some incredible games at the Club World Cup. But then do you know what Dortmund did, for example, in the Dortmund game? They went, you know what, guys, solid defensively, we're going to cross this ball 7 times. Rulani used to do that as well. Rulani used to get to points in the game where the chameleon wasn't working. Then he'd just go, hey, Mendieta, go onto the pitch. We're going to play up the wings and we're going to cross as many times as we can to try and win. We need those type of things. Our football lacks a discipline and structure. It lacks a tactic, a move. It lacks an intention to go score. Simnandi. Fact of the matter is that there was 1 shot on target from Pirates yesterday. Simnandi. Nigeria has all the names. They had 1 shot on target themselves. And then when they go play the teams up there, who, if you allow just for a second, they score the 4, they score the 5, they score the 6, and they move on. Then we fail as a continent. Gumnandi alakli mashaya abantu to go win 15 to win 15 Champions Leagues. Zalana. What happens when you go and face the other guys? They beat you. But anyway, VN Designs, welcome. How are you?
Rauti.
How are you, my brother?
I'm okay, bro.
Tell me about this game. How did you feel about what Bafana did?
Okay, firstly, let me start comment on what you've just talked about the development. Yeah, I think one thing that South Africa is lacking, or Africa as a whole, we are not treating our football as a culture. You see, for example, let's go to rugby. Go to those players, your Rassis you name them, your Sia Colises. You do your research. These guys, they started their career from their young age. You go to cricket, they will tell you that at 11 years old, they already had everything that they needed to see themselves as the professionals one day. You see, so in football, that's what it's lacking in terms of that. We are not taking this thing, football as a culture, because a culture, let's generalize it. You go to church from a young age, they teach you. You pray in the morning, you pray during the day, so it becomes your habit. You see, so what we are lacking as a continent, we don't have those structures that will teach us that football should be a culture. You see, so the development, what Junior can, okay, you usually says, some of our players are not well developed, because development, it it activates some elements in you as a person individually, because some players are talented but they are not coachable. That is something that you should learn from your early age. To Yamil Yamal, they saw him, Kolamasia, they saw him at a young age. Now he is the core of the team. You see, the guy lives. No, this guy, the way he was brought up, stages. But here, Nkota, we see him TDC, and then you hear he was scouted 2 years back. Umbogazi, his story, it's not. It doesn't have many layers. It has only 2 layers. He was scouted, brought by somebody else, and now he is playing in Bafana. You see, so it doesn't help us, because there will be players like Mbogazi, but how many Mbogazis can you get in 5 years?
And I guess the question is for me, how do you make Mbogazi world class? Because Mbogazi is very good. He's amazing. Go Pirates is amazing. Go CAF Champions League is amazing. In these games we've played AFCON. But can he stand up to the world? And how do we do that?
I think for Mbogazi, at the moment, because of the structure that we have, it's only that we hope that he gets the better coaching. Even himself, he mustn't rely on coaching from the team. I don't know whether it happens that you have a personal coach, somebody who's gonna be your mentor. I think that might help him, see, to develop him individually. We will criticize him alone and tell him, no, you are wrong here. Here you are, you see. Such things, just to activate those elements of being a coachable player, so that when you go to Mourinho will not give you 5 chances. He will coach you. If you don't listen, you are out. We know you as a good player. Pesita goes to another club. He has a talent, but when you get to Klopp will tell you that this is how I want to play. They won't take the talent as one individual brilliance that you should have. Individual brilliance works, but it only works for Brazilians and your Messis and stuff. But when it comes to other, it's you must be coachable. Okay, let me close Kanje.
Yeah,
Let me
very quickly.
close Kanje. Bafana, I think that game coach Wikalegas, but I understand his tactics. Towards the end of the halftime, these guys, they got physical. So I think we needed Foster for his presence. Body. Mbule was slow, they were slow, but they held them pound to pound in terms of body structure, which was vital. The way they started believing in themselves.
20 seconds, yeah.
Yes, yeah. I think that's all. But
Okay.
I think I understand the coach. His approach, second half, these guys were fighting. These guys were physical. So he needed to play, 30.
Vian, thank you so much. Just for time's sake, I want to bring in Trevor. Trevor, welcome. How are you? Trevor? Okay, let's go to Soweto Chant. Soweto Chant, I like that profile picture, man. But it's fine. Welcome, my brother. How are you?
I like it too, man. It's beautiful. Golden Lake, yes.
Tell me about this game, man.
The game, Leoti, I think we did well. We just needed a draw or a win. Yeah, but so a draw is not bad. I mean, we can live with a draw. In Nigeria, they can't. They are using our calculators right now to see if they can qualify. But for us, now it's we need to win the 2 coming games as well. Or maybe draw 1. Yeah, because we are just like 3 points.
Or maybe. Or maybe. Must win both, man.
Must win both. Uqinisile. Kodwa-ke OT i-DNA ye-South Africa ayitshentshanga. Yabo, ayitshentshanga at all. This is the South Africa we know. I-South Africa ethanda ukudlala ibhola enyaweni, ethanda ukulithinta iliphasi lisele nale. Yabo, and yeah, this is the way we've been playing in the past as well. The only problem is we are unable to react to, such playing teams like in Nigeria when they start using a physique and they start pushing our players, they start bullying us, of which I think we had a speed on the bench, and if we would try to play on speed, we could have gotten 2 goals in that second half. Because I saw when Usbelebele came in, running with the ball like that, defense in Nigeria started to look bad. So I think we just needed more speedy players. We needed Reynas as well, because Reynas is a player who can break, and when he breaks through, he's clinical. He can score. So yeah, I think we didn't react enough, but it's not a bad result. It's not a bad result. We can qualify.
I want to be positive. When we qualify, what are your expectations of Bafana at the World Cup?
In the World Cup, my expectations are, I mean, Morocco went to the semi-finals. I don't think Morocco is that big of a team, more than South Africa. I mean, the type of football that South Africa plays, we only struggle against teams that play, like Abu Senegal, Abu Ghana, Abu Nigeria. We only struggle against those teams. But when we play against a team that comes pound to pound, we tend to do well. Even now in Morocco, they play that type of football, and they have problems against the South Africa. All the teams in Africa as well, like Abu Zimbabwe, Abu Lesotho, tries to come pound on pound. We do well against those teams because lento segazini DNA siyalithinta ibhola man siyalidlala. But I think nje, even though coach wethu, the only thing that sets him apart is chemistry. When he picks players, he's not only looking at ukuthi amafana athanda wiphi player, he's looking at the chemistry within the team. So if he go for Sundowns players, he will go maybe for 6 or 7 go Sundowns. If he goes for Pirates, he does the same, because he's building a team around the chemist, which is good, which is excellent. I'm just worried if the teams in PSL, they don't perform that much. What is he gonna do then? But yeah, I think so far so good. I'm expecting South Africa to do well, World Cup if we qualify for real. I'm expecting us to go.
Well, I love you guys because Anfunu Bega, you don't want to put your heads on the block all the way. Manity well, what is well? What does well mean?
Leto yisha kithi uthi asikaze siwine World Cup. Kodwa so 2026.
Still hasn't answered, but it's fine for time. Let me bring in Tamelek. Tamelek, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm good. I know what how are you?
But I'm good, man.
Yeah, long time.
long time. Tell me about this game. How did you see it?
in the past we used to be worried. Now when I supported Hugo Bros, Lena, you said to me, intervening. With this coach, I was like, this guy has a play. I remember when they went to they played with Mbappe, they got punished. I was like, you know what? Hugo was teaching us something that he wants to show us. Good guys, we are still far. And then he has proved, Dore, he had a point. You know, the Madala has proved, Dore, like there was a reason he took us to France. After that, things have been different, man. And he has built a team that's strong enough. And I want to disagree on a lot of things. And this is where I also said the same thing at the last AFCON. This is where it separates. Bafana are separate, are different to all the teams. Bafana are a tactical team. They are solid, whether you like it or not. Bafana, that's why now he's able to move players around, even put Kabini in. Before we would be worried, but because of the structure and how he did it. I mean, yesterday everyone was like, "Why Obas, not Mbata?" I was like, the reason the reason he's doing this, he wants to just be sure Hore mistakes are covered in the back. He wants to make sure Guti they don't go through the middle, rather they go through the sides, but not the middle. And also, you realize, Guti, Ekong was substituted, right? You do realize, Guti, Nigeria had to change and play a back five against South Africa. You know what that means? You know what that means? Mbula was giving them problems. At some point, they had to put Basi in to say, hey, we're not. Make sure this guy doesn't turn in the middle field. You make sure he doesn't turn. He pulls those passes, he sharp us back passes. He turns, he gives us problems. And he stick with who you call what's his name? Foster in the front, because if he realized what physicality wise, Reyners was not gonna do what Foster was doing. He was winning those fouls, making sure Bob Bassi I kept busy. He even dropped inside to the point whereby he could give the pass to Bo Apolis and Bonkot, even though they were not effective in the second half. He didn't just want to risk it and say, okay, let me attack. He realized the team was balanced. As much as we were not attacking, it was still balanced in defending and putting the numbers there. Because the numbers speak for themselves. Nigeria couldn't attack. And going with our World Cup, guys, tactically, we are good. If teams come there thinking, hore, they're going to cook us, they're going to have a problem. The same thing I said about AFCON, the previous AFCON. If teams come there thinking, the only thing we're going to lose, I was worried was, hey, I realized those guys are beasts. Hey, I really showed Tishem. I really showed Team South Africa, Shem. Yo, people. I saw Lukman is the same height as Ngezana. I thought Ngezana is high, is tall. Yeah.
But Messi is 168, Xavi is 165, Iniesta is 164. Why?
We proved yesterday. We proved that he was 168. Technically, we are untouchable. I mean, technically, we can actually consider ourselves as a Spain. I mean, we were moving the ball the way we wanted to move it. We would push it. Foster would hold it. Get it someone to Ubas or Mokwena. Mokwena will sharper those through balls. The thing that I'm worried about is the final pass and the final product. We have a problem of finishing. We have a problem of getting
setting
the passes.
up.
I mean, yes. I mean, the structure, you saw what they wanted to do. Foster, the same way Mwana Bomahopa holds it up, releases it to Obas or Mokwena threads the ball through. Easy. We saw those runs being made the whole game. Even like a second half, even though when they were playing a back five, they were having problems. They resulted into pushing us. So we are good, OT.
Okay. For time, I'm going to jump in. I want to bring in Sinje before we go to Prati. Sinje, showstopper, welcome.
Halala. Hugo Boss is giving false hope. Halala.
How false hope? Why is it false hope, showstopper?
Listen, for me, this was the test to see if South Africa can be very lethal.
Okay.
This, for me, was the test to see if Bafana can be brutal. in particular to a limping Nigeria, in particular to a desperate Nigeria. Can South Africa bulldoze a limping giant that is lacking chemistry, that is lacking understanding, that is at the verge of collapsing? And for me, they failed that test, which is going to be a very important aspect of Bafana going to the World Cup. So a team losing 10-1 in those World Cup qualifiers. What's this? Haaland. I saw Haaland punishing a country very severe. I saw Brazil punishing very severe. I saw these countries with no mercy. I don't think, if watching that Bafana in Nigeria game, Nigeria was I think they leaned too much on their brutal strength and neglected their aerial advantage over South Africa.
Yeah.
I thought Nigeria would play a lot of helicopter football just to get the results. But I think they wanted to instill fear and a psychological fear on South Africa, which is, I would give the players a lot of, I would give Monyane, I give the backline of South Africa, what's this young boy from Paris?
Bogas.
Hey, that boy he doesn't play games. He doesn't play games. He does not play games. He demonstrated that he is a force to be reckoned with, which is something that I liked. I would say I liked that. I liked that from the South African back four, is that they didn't play games. The midfield, not as much. The strikers, not as much. The Nigerian strikers are very physical with our backline. I wouldn't say the same with our strikers and our midfielders, and I think that's something that Hugo Boss. Yeah.
No. I wanted to ask you something just for this minute here, CJ. I like that you're saying that, but could you also say on the other point that we weren't clinical, Nigeria wasn't clinical, and maybe as a continent as a whole, is that maybe our problem across the board?
I get why Nigeria wasn't as clinical as Nigeria is limping. Nigeria is not fluid. They failed to do the same thing with Rwanda. They drew against Rwanda. So Nigeria is not having an on fire campaign as South Africa.
But TV.
You know, Nigeria is not Nigeria as we know Nigeria. They are in trouble. This is a Nigeria that is in trouble. So I would not expect them to be as clinical as Bafana is. If you look at the run that Nigeria is having, how many coaches have Nigeria had since Hugo Boss became coach? How many technical teams? They are in trouble. Do you get what I'm trying to say? They are in trouble. So I would not expect Nigeria to come gun blazing. But for a Nigeria that wants to prove a point, I wanted a Bafana to bury that type of a Nigeria. And for us not to be able to do that, it then questions what are we going to do in that World Cup? Because when you are facing a Nigeria that is limping, I'm expecting South Africa to be the powerhouse, to demonstrate that they are the ones that are on a winning streak. They are the ones that are on a 21 winning streak. They are the ones that have conceded less goals. They are the ones that looks in tech. They are the ones that are technically more advanced. They are more than one that have the better chemistry, better aura, if you could put it that way. So for them not to kill a limping Nigeria, I'm a little bit worried. And to come out of that game without even scoring a goal is another problem.
For time, I'm going to jump in because I want to bring in Ikhrutman Pratemba. Prati, welcome, Prati.
Yes, gents.
How are you, Prezi?
Well, I could be better. Just a little bit exhausted. Not a little bit, quite exhausted. But yeah, hectic times at Bloemfontein, but it's fine. We signed up for this, yeah.
How did you feel about everything, Pratemba, with the Bafana and Nigeria?
You know, you must have been there to witness the euphoria and everything. You know, I've been following Bafana, even when the days were not giving us anything to celebrate. You know, I've been and I've seen Bafana go being the lowest at the lowest of the low, and to where they are now. I hear some people saying, "Hey, why were you celebrating a draw? This gentleman just before me, you should have killed Nigeria at the lowest low." And so on and so on and so forth. I'm looking at you. Gotta be there to witness it. It's so easy. I'm going to say this, of course, with maximum respect to the fans. And remember, when I talk from the side of the fan with an advantage of walking into Bafana change room, walking into Nigeria change room, before the match or even after the match, and being on the field of play, witnessing the same pitch that they talk about, you know, being in the Bafana bus, being in the Bafana hotel, hanging out with the legends, the build up to the match, activations and all of that. I can tell you, guys, this is the biggest step for our boys, that they've gone all the way to be where they are now. Even in the post-match conference, I asked the Nigerian coach to say, how does it feel to see yourself struggling against these kids that we have, the no-name kids, when you've got big-name players? It took a lot of courage for our boys to be there. The average age within this team is 26, but the younger one is 19 years old. That is a big achievement for South African football. When you've got a 19-year-old Mbokazi, you've got a 20-year-old Relebuhile, you've got a 20-year-old Nkota, you know, you've got your Apolis, and all of these players are young players, like literally. If you can ask them, what do they remember in a 2010 World Cup? Not far, 2010 World Cup. They know nothing about it. You know, and I can tell you now, personally, the South African in me says, let's be, I'm sorry, my kid, my little one is playing.
No problem.
The South African in me says, pat those boys on their backs and say, well done, boys, which I did yesterday. You can even go to my profile. I was in the thick of things, and I see people trying to create negativity around the boys during the celebration lap at the stadium and all of that. It's because they were not there. If you were there, you would have understood that for these boys to be where they are, looking at where we come from with Nigeria, I mean, one of the players there can pay the salary of the whole Bafana squad. You know, his salary can pay the whole squad. But I understand Uti Pola Silbung fan. I understand that we are individuals before we become a unit, before we become a community, and before we become a nation. But being individuals doesn't mean that sometimes we don't have to look the same direction, all of us. Because now we need to be proud, support the boys, and not even look forward to say the Nigeria, the World Cup, the boys have done so well. Qualification in South Africa were the sand and the sea. It was something within the same space, but we never got to reach the other. Now that we are qualifying for things, it's thanks to coaches that come to South Africa, or the South African coaches rather, that develop our players, that we've got now the bravery to find a 19-year-old in the national team. The age is getting younger. Our football is getting younger and quicker. The style that we play is becoming a problem to the world. So let's embrace all of that. My plea to the fellow fans, for football lovers, is say, let's not judge these boys based on what we watch on Supersport and watch La Liga, EPL, and compare our boys to all those big name players there. You know, that they punish this club. Even remember that the national team is a reflection of the league. You know, of the National League everywhere in the world. I can be challenged on this because I follow the leagues all over the world. The national team is usually the reflection of the league. There's no high scoring in South African football. The stats are read in the middle of the park where the confrontation usually happens in terms of our football style, football, play, type of play and all of that. But you just leave people to be having their opinions. But Mina, I always say, one, I must be proud of these boys because these boys is all what we have. They are all what we have. Number two, you battery exhausted, OT, I charge the battery. I understand that we all want different things. And unfortunately in football, there is no quick fix. There isn't. We've seen people trying it. We've seen even locally a team like Sundowns buying all the expensive players, bringing all the expensive coaches until time dictated that now is their time. Until we get to that mentality in our heads to say, Ebola is not one of those things where you can wake up and say, idiski. You have to work on yourself. Right now, we are a nation that is on the building process. Remember, we come from the 5-0 Brazil. Brazil can come to South Africa today. I promise you, they'll find it hard to play against these boys. Spain can come to South Africa today. They'll find it difficult to play against these boys because our type of football is one that needs to be studied, in terms of, you don't even have to use the book. It's in the blood. Listen, cousin, if I may say that, still that. But anyway, without stealing any much of your time.
Prati, can I just ask you something from your point of view as somebody who's inside and in the thick of things? What do you think has changed in South African football in this period, over and above Hugo Bruce and over and above all the other things? What has changed in South African football for us to be where we are right now?
It's the mindset. I can tell you, yesterday we had an engagement with Dr. Kumalo, a media engagement. He had a fan engagement through 10Bet, the Bafana sponsor, as an ambassador. So we had a breakfast session with Doc. He said that Clive Barker built this and we lost it along the way, but he's happy that it's back. The self-belief, we really, really, really want to. I see a Sundowns pen. I see a Sundowns fan here. Sundowns fans, I love them for one thing. They hear you mentioning Sundowns, then they start attacking. Like for what? I'm giving Sundowns compliment to say they had a blueprint that they had to develop today. That's why they're maybe Nishong Eslung. When you've got this man, I'm one person game, I'll take you on. Listen to the statement that I say. I say Sundowns is a typical example of patience and all of that. They had it, all the coaches that came through, they didn't, Stoichkov, I did mention that.
Yeah.
And now, until they got it right, Pitso, because the blueprint started making sense to 1 a player, 2 an administrator, 3 a fan, 4 the same coaching and all the other divisions, because the Sundowns at under 9, at under 10, at 11, 15, they play the same way because the blueprint is the same. Isn't that a compliment? Like, really? Yo, guys, don't ever do that to yourself. That's why I don't go into these lives because, OT, I'm in your platform. I was in the thick of things. I'm always in the thick of things when it comes to football, whether nationally or internationally. I'm always there. And whenever I say something, I know that it can be tested and I'll come up tops.
Can I just
what I'm saying is
what
I'm saying is just a quick one before I go. Our football development, the belief in development, the belief in the grown talent, the belief in saying, as a country, as a football community, when we start saying, coach, throw this boy in. A coach like Siad Ramovic, right? He came to TS Galaxy. A coach like Rulani Mokwena, right? I'll tell you why I'm quoting these coaches. A coach like Mangoba Mngiti, a coach like Jose Ribeiro, the bravest coach we've ever had here, Ekasi. In our football, in the recent, in the current time is Jose Rivero. He comes in, he takes a 17, 18-year-old from the development, he puts them in the first team. Who didn't smile the day when Mufokeng made his debut for Bafana, 3 minutes remaining? Who did not have a warm heart when that young boy ran into the field of play? He was groomed by a foreign coach who is not listening to the technical aspects from the manager and all of that, who says, I know football, you are old enough, you can play. You can take it as far as Gavin Hunt saying to Penny, you are 16 years old, I'm throwing you in the first team. Show me one team today that doesn't have teenagers in their first team. They all do, because someone somewhere came with a blueprint for the country. Hugo Broos did that, and he took it. And all the coaches now, because Hugo Broos came and said, I'm dealing with young players. I will not choose your Andy Lejali because he's got this mind that I don't like from a player. I will not choose your Tembazwan because he's old and I want to go younger. But seeing him, looking at Hugo Broos, he comes back and he says, I've had to change my mind on Tembazwan because I saw his special talent. That's why I wish he was 16 when I got here. You see? So we really need to give credit and praise where it's due. And unfortunately, when you talk about some things with the fans, look what it does. It says on Friday at training, on the side, Hugo Broos is a coach that speaks quite openly. And I said to him, Coach, I think I was with Kamu from idiski times, I think, yeah. And then I said, oh no, from Soweto. And I say, Coach, you really brought a Mduvila Shabalala here in Bafana setup. He says, I want him to learn how the national team plays, the setup. I want him here because what I saw from him during the COSAFA has told me that he's a player who can compete internationally. He says, Mbogazi himself is a player that should not be here. As we're walking down the passage on the corridor, and he says to me, but I will not talk to you like this because we'll leave it for the press conference, you know? And for me, we've got a coach, a national team coach, that we as fans go out and attack. Unnecessarily so. We don't have to attack this man. We need to learn from this man as much as possible, because you can check now. The blueprint that he has given us for the national team, it's up to us to mess it up. But even if he can die today, drop today and die, touch wood, it doesn't happen. We have got a blueprint that he has submitted at the South African Football Association to say, this is what I'm giving you because you've taken care of me. You see? So we need to make sure that we protect our football and not compare it to the outside world, because the outside world is worried about our football, how we play, and how difficult it is to play a Southern African team. Because one, we are small by body. Two, we are quick, we are agile. Dr. Kumalo, again, I'll go back to him. He says the only thing that will win it for our boys, elephant cannot turn. So those boys, Nigerian boys, are so huge. I saw them yesterday. While I was there, I was like, goodness me, as old as I am, these boys, they are 24, 26, because we stayed at the same hotel, basically. And I looked at them, even at breakfast. I was like, I'm feeling out of place, because when you see them, I know these boys are quite huge. And Dr. Kumar says, Bangak tu Shaba. That's where we beat them. So there's quite a lot that we're doing. Yeah.
Okay, Pratem, I wanted to ask you one last thing, Mara, for time. I don't want to steal too much of your time. Or do you mind if I ask you just one more question?
Yeah.
Prati, I love how you spoke about mindset. And we saw Patrice Motsepe coming in and instilling that at Sundowns. He's doing something similar at CAF. Is that something that we need more of in the African game? That not necessarily just a raw mindset shift or a raw confidence, but also a backing. You know, you speak about Coach Pitso being given a chance to make his football scientific, if we can put it that way, or to go deeper with what he could do and build. Do we need that across the board on the African continent?
Absolutely, but unfortunately, remember, some of us travel, year in, year out with football. Tina, we are blessed as South Africa. let's forget about the facilities. There, nobody touches us. But with regards to the administration, South Africa produces the most beautiful administrators, whether male or female. Give it to them. And number two, our football is on the rise. Number three, the finances from the league level. Remember that other countries don't have an ABC Motsepe that pays 500,000 for the prize or whatever. You can tell it's either the National League is the one that is paying better money, but everyone else does not get paid, anything sustainable. Because we are the leaders when it comes to that. Trust me, believe me. Let's not cross the sea and go to England and all of that. No, let's keep it in the continent. Because Tina, we always like to measure our standard based on what the Europeans do. But in the continent, we are number one, and we keep it that way. Let's stick to what we can do best. Administratively, one. Number two, finances in terms of the team. The player lifestyle. Again, I have a problem with that, a challenge with that, because our players, even the young ones, the 19-year-olds that we have in big teams, they fight with the administrators because he's only 19. He wants to buy a Golf 8. I'm going to quote this quickly. I go to Kaizer Chiefs the other day, and this player gets there. He's new in the club. OT, I think I've told you this story before. He's new at the club. He comes, he signs a big contract. Everybody's making a hoo-ha about him. He's moving from a place, a seaside team, a coastal team rather. He comes into Joburg. He gets a team. He becomes big. He doesn't perform as expected, but he's driving a Golf 8. First car in Joburg, Golf 8. For what? You see, the guidance, that's one thing that we lack. And then I'm going to go and say, in the same continent, Senegal, Sadio Mane, you'd laugh looking at him. He's only now that you can see him wearing a Louis Vuitton. He has not been that guy, but he's the richest player in the world, one of the richest players in the world. So there's quite a few things that we need to do. But one thing again, a chairman like Dr. Khoza, a chairman like Ubabu Motsepe, President Motsepe, those two teams, you will never find a car that is worth 1 million being driven by a player. A train, you will never. Never. Bona, I go to the parkings and I've done a research on this. Sundowns and Orlando Pirates, the highest a player can go is about 800,000. Nakona, he will have to hide. Because those two gentlemen, they say, make money today. Your signing fee, it must be signed up for. That the 3 years you're staying here with us, your mom has a house, your children go to school, your siblings get a better life. That's the tradition that we need to preserve as South African. And thank you so much to those gentlemen who do that. Team Sugas is following quite well, by the way.
No, Prati, let me let you go. I'm sure you're tired from the traveling and everything. Thank you so much for joining us, Prati. Oh, it's not writing even.
I'm still writing. I need to know what I'm okay, fine. Let me leave that. I'm a ghostwriter for some publications. And then they say staff reporter. So
must keep it on, Prati.
You still owe me that coffee, bruh.
Yes, no, we have to organize it, Prati.
You still owe me that coffee. And by the way, because it's you, I think with a few of your fellow followers that you can choose, we can go for a bulk coffee, maybe be 10 of us, and then sit and talk.
Danko, you see the pic. Did you guys hear? Thank you, Prati, for that. I'll bring the members with me.
We'll get 10 guys who go and do coffee, and then your followers, then we sit with you and talk. Not the way we do, go stadium. No. Let's sit down and have a proper football talk.
No, thank you so much, Prati.
I'm your big fan, OT, still.
I'm always a big fan of you, Prati. You know that. And it's nice to have Grotman that I can speak to as well, that are guiding us, Nati.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Prati. Yeah, guys, so I'm looking at the time. I think I might let me let a member in to just close it off for me here, and then we'll have a chat. Oh, Theo. Oh, Pratemba makho Theo sekabuile. Velile, utaka wapi?
Ufuna ungifaka phansi kwebhasi udlala ngami ne?
Hayi, yawo. Akithi members privilege.
akwazi ukuthi uBrati ngangifaka emva kweBrati aqeda ukukhuluma ulwazi olungaka bese ufaka mina ngazi ufuna ngithini ufuna ukuthi labantu bakho lama-comment bathi lo muntu lo bekabhede emva kweBrati noma sengikhuluma into enesisense ngeke senze isense noma sengathi ngiyazama ngithi ngenze isense bazovele bathi lo ongene ngalo uvela baye ungoma yayona wathi isibhidli lamnyanya awukahle udlala ngami so khuluma okuningi kusasa mdala hayi kahle
okay
adlale kanjalo
okay hayi ithi ukukhulule it's fine
baka please ngadress into eyi-1 vele ngibhedo kempela ngicela labantu base-Eastern Cape la beteam yakho ungene waphuma omunye uHugo Bruce uzuyahamba next season as long as angakabi prepared ukuthi uHugo Bruce akusuHugo Boss akakaphinda mthandi akasala ibambe nje inhliziyo yabo usinje ucela ukudlala uzuyahamba abantu uHugo Bruce please nabangani bakho baseteam bamkile izolo asikwazi ngalinda linda igame enkulu kanje eNigeria bese sibukela igame ngecamera eyi-1 istadium esikhulu kanje please ucelele kubo bangasimoshi ukubukela ibhola angeke ngikhulume ngebhola nje uBrati ngoba ngizobe ngiyimosha lokugcina kodwa ngiyakucela usicelele ku-supersport asikwazi ukubukela igame kodwa ngecamera eyi-1 no ways guys please that was the World Cup qualifier
for time itingene akithi ngofuna ukuhamba
asikwazi ukubukela ibhola ngathi sibukela i-3-man press there's no way nyala hayi kabi shaba fo
guys Pratemba's there in the comments as well, speaking about the MTN8 finals tickets. I will communicate. I'll just speak to him, and then we'll communicate on how we can get tickets so that people can come with as well to the final. Naming for the final, so Prati, I'll talk to him and then tell everybody what we can do, guys. The last thing that I just want to speak about now is that this is our football. Is our football, it's growing, it's progressing, it's all of that stuff, but we need to be intentional about it. And what I found is that as South Africans, a lot of the time, we ourselves are not intentional about the way we want to take the football, where we want it to grow. And it's coming from other voices. It's coming from your Jose's, it's coming from your Hugo Brosses, it's coming from Abu Rulani, guys who are empowered by Mamelodi Sundowns, for example, to be at that level. Abu Coach Pitso. We need to start being more intentional with our football, and that means it's no longer just about being talented. It has to be about everything else. Now, Mbogazi is great, and I think one of the things that we have, the mindset that maybe we need to shift in Africa, is this thing yoguti umuntu has to go overseas in order to get better. Umuntu has to go overseas in order to be good or whatever. And you then ask the question, Guti, then what are we doing here every day in order to ensure that those players are leveling up? Abombogazi laba, we want to see them leveling up. We want to see them going out and fighting international battles versus Abombape. You know, some of our players are not going to touch. Some of our players are not going to touch Abombape, Lamine Yamal, for example, because of some of the setups that we have and some of the fears that we have and some of maybe how we do business as Africans. So we need to take real responsibility in all of this and make sure that we are building this football. As the guys must call me Paula Manja, Abo Coach Petulana, Abakhona Lana. Guys, I hope you guys are noting things down and writing things down and coming up with theories. I hope you guys are doing research and publishing things. That will help, you know, where we can. Tell us what you guys are thinking, what you guys are building. That is how a football grows. That is how an identity grows. That is what happens. You know, there's somebody who was watching the second division in Italy and came up with some of the things. Praskrima, rest in peace, Praskrima, were going to Italy and bringing back things and putting them into the football and really going. And I feel like as a South Africa, we were on that road and then we sort of fell off and we sort of got complacent. So let's not get complacent with our football. Let's try grow our football as much as possible, guys. thank you so much for joining. Remember, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, 8 p.m. I will be here. And then, of course, if Chiefs, Pirates, Mamelodi Sundowns, Bafana, or Banyana are in action, we'll be here watching it live on a watch-along. It's a very interactive show. I drop content I try to drop content every couple of days. If you're looking for me, you can find me Overthinking Football on YouTube. That's where my long-form podcasts drop. You can find me on Onside the Banter League, Fridays 3 p.m. on Podcast and Chill Network. You can find me 3-Man Press. I think Khalifang is here in the comments. 3-Man Press, myself, Khalifang, Lindo Pep. We have a show that we do where we discuss these things. It actually dropped today. So if you go to 3-Man Press on YouTube, you'll be able to watch that. We're just trying to make this football better. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I'll see you guys then on Friday. Bye, everyone.